Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I am going to be showing you guys 4 different mid to high level money making methods. So each of these methods will be able to make you at least 5 mil per hour. And they are pretty consistent money makers. So if you're looking for some easy ways to make a bit of money at a mid to high level, then these are definitely some methods you can do. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoy the video and let's jump right into it. Moving on to this next method, we have going through the Anachronia agility course. So the requirements for this method include 85 agility. You'll need this to get through the entire agility course. Also recommended is 30 magic, bladed dive, double surge, and the mobile perk, just so you can get through the agility course a bit quicker. The agility cape, which does require 99 agility, is also helpful since it will make it so you won't fail any obstacles. Now, you will require 750 of the codex pages to make one of these codexes. You can make an untradeable version for the 500 codex pages that you can only use yourself. However, the 750 ones, the tradable ones, they can be traded on the Grand Exchange for around 50 to 60 mil right now. This method is quite simple. You're just going to be going through the agility course. You can go through either end. It sometimes is a bit difficult to see the obstacles within the Anachronia agility course. So just one tip that I have for you guys is try and look for the white markings. You can see some white handprints or white footprints sometimes wherever you're going, but you might get lost if you're not fully aware of the agility course. It might take you a few runs through for you to become really efficient with it, just because it is sort of blends in with the rest of the environment. But that being said, that's all of this method is just going through this agility course, getting the codex pages, so then you can make the codex, which does sell for 50 to 60 mil, and it should take you around 9 hours to complete one of these codexes. And moving on to our next method, we have killing the Shadow Reef mobs. This is a pretty low to mid-level method. You can make around 5 mil per hour doing it, and you get a ton of combat XP as well, upwards of 1 mil combat XP per hour. The requirements for this method include 80 plus combat, as well as 43 prayer for protect from melee. You'll basically need this at least when you are doing this method. And also recommended is Curse of the Black Stone quest. This is a really helpful quest since it will reduce the damage you take in all elite dungeons by 10%. So to start this method, head to Daemonheim to go into Elite Dungeon 3, the Shadow Reef. You'll want to start by making sure that the chest picks up all of the drops for you. I recommend using either melee or magic, whichever one you're best with. And then you're just going to be going through with the dungeon, killing all of the mobs. The only mobs you don't have to kill are the deep horrors. They are pretty tough to kill, so it's recommended just to run by those. The deep horrors are located just right here. Just make sure that you run right by them and just continue on going through the dungeon until you reach the first boss. Once you do this, you'll want to restart and kill all the mobs over again. Going through these dungeons will make you around 5 mil per hour just by claiming the loot from the chest. Now moving on to our next method, we have killing Abyssal Demons. So the only requirement for this method is 85 Slayer. However, there are quite a few recommendations to optimize this method. First off, 80 plus melee or magic is highly recommended. You'll want curses and overloads. Now if you are using magic, which is the best combat style to use here, Greater Chain is an especially useful ability here. You'll be able to get up to 1500 kills per hour if you do have this ability. Also, the Inquisitor Staff works as well if you do want to boost your damage a little bit more. And the Scavenging perk is an excellent perk to use as well, since you will be getting a lot of kills per hour. And then also, if you do have the Death Note Relic, that will be pretty useful here just to increase your GP per hour, because it will note all of the ashes that are dropped by these Abyssal Demons, so you'll be able to pick those up, and that will add a lot of profit per hour to this method. So the Death Note Relic is a really great relic to use here. Now, you can make around 5 mil per hour doing this method, and that is not counting the extra money you're going to be making from the components if you do have the scavenging perk, and you will be able to be AFK for around 2 to 3 minutes at a time. It is a pretty safe combat method to do. So first off, when you get to the Slayer Tower, you'll want to pick up a Slayer contract for killing Abyssal Demons. This just adds a little bit of Slayer XP as well as some coins to your profit or your time here. You get to claim it for about 250,000 coins, so it is a nice thing to pick up, and you only need to kill 200 to claim the contract. Now, the best spot to kill the Abyssal Demons is at the top floor of the Slayer Tower. Hopefully there's no one here. If not, you will have to hop worlds. But first off, you're just going to use your Aggression Potion and your Holy Overload. Make sure that your action bar is set so you do have a lot of AoE abilities. So you will want Corruption Blast, you'll want Chains, and Dragon Breath. If you do have that Greater Chains ability, as I mentioned, that's going to be the best ability to use here, so you'll want that to be active as often as possible. So doing this method, you can get up to 1,000 kills per hour. If you do have the Greater Chains ability, however, you can get much more than that. You can get up to 1,500, especially if you do have the Roaming perk along with that. So this method does depend on a few things if you're looking to make extra profit, but on average you should make around 4 to 5 mil per hour without optimizing this method. And so next we have killing nightmare creatures. Now there are quite a few requirements for this, including the Children of Ma quest. This is a Grandmaster quest, so it does have a lot of other prerequisite quests that you will need to have completed. So that is a pretty good requirement there. Also, 80 Slayer is required to kill nightmare creatures as well, and recommended a high magic level, preferably 90 plus. Cannon or the Oldak Coil is also helpful with this method, and then also 95 Prayer and 96 Herblore for the curses and overloads. You should be able to make around 8 mil per hour doing this method. Now, if you are on task, your GP per hour will be a bit higher, right around 9 or 10 mil per hour. Now, looking at the gear setup, as you can see, you are going to want to use magic, and preferably you will want to use ancient magics as well. Blood Barrage is a really good spell to use here, since you will be able to hit multiple targets at once. Also, if you do have the Inquisitor staff, this will be really useful here. It'll go up to a tier 97 staff, so if you do have that, make sure to bring it. Also, if you have Cinderbanes, they're super helpful because nightmares are not immune to poison, so they'll allow you to deal a little bit extra damage. You can use the Vampirism Aura. It'll basically just make it so you don't need food at all. You are going to want to be praying ranged as well as using Torment for curses, but that is basically it for the magic setup. Looking at just your inventory, as you can see, we have the Enhanced Excalibur. If you do have that, that's always helpful. Bring an Overload, also a bunch of Prayer Potions. You are going to want to bring some Cannonballs and the Oldak Coil. If you don't have the Oldak Coil, you can bring a cannon. Alternatively, that does work as well. Then just bring some food and also some magic notepaper because they will have a few Dragon Battle Staff drops that they will be dropping. You could use Winter Storage Scrolls instead of the magic notepaper as well, if that's what you want to do. So to get to nightmare creatures, you are going to want to go to the World Gate. Now you will want to redial it to the first option, which is RuneScape. Now you can enter it and just choose the ritual site, which should be the last option. You will unlock this option after the Children of Ma quest. You will be teleported to the ritual site where the nightmare creatures are located. Just walk a little bit to the west and you'll see the nightmare creatures. Now, something really important about this method is the placement of your cannon or Oldak Coil. So I'm going to show you the best spot to place it. It is right where these two nightmare creatures up here spawn. So you're going to want to place it right in the middle of them so that you will always have at least one of them aggroed onto you. Now, nightmare creatures will attack with melee attacks, but they will also use a range attack, which can deal up to 4,000 damage. So that is why you are going to want to be using or praying ranged. It's because after every 5 auto attacks, they will use that range attack and it will deal a lot of damage as opposed to just blocking the melee attacks. You will also want the Vampirism Aura for this reason, since you aren't using Soul Split. That way you will be able to heal a bit of health as well, instead of just taking a lot of damage. Now also Blood Barrage will heal you a little bit as well, which is why you should use that spell. Aside from that, that is basically it for the mechanics to kill the nightmare creatures. You should be able to kill around 300 to 400 per hour, depending on your gear setups and stuff like that. But also another thing to note with the nightmare creatures is their drops. So they do drop the nightmare gauntlets. Now, when you are off task, the chances of getting a nightmare gauntlet drop is 1 in 10,000. So you're probably not going to get that. The drop is worth around 46 mil right now. But as I said, the GP per hour is a lot higher while you are on task. So if you are on task, the drop rate for those nightmare gauntlets are dropped to 1 in 2,000. So a 1 in 2,000 shot at getting a 46 mil drop will increase your GP per hour by about 1 mil per hour, and it will put it up from about 8 mil up to 9 mil per hour. Now, nightmare creatures, they also have a lot of other really great drops, including the Dragon Battle Staff drops. These are uncommon drops, and they sell for about 120k each. So a lot of money off of those. They also have some noted rune salvage, as well as just some random runes and arrowheads and stuff like that, which all do add up. And overall, you can make around 8 mil per hour, killing about 400 of them an hour as well. So it is a really good money-making method for high-level players. You'll get a decent bit of XP as well. They're about 700 to 800k mage XP, as well as 250,000 constitution XP per hour. And so anyway, guys, those are the 4 methods that I have for you in today's video. I really hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more RuneScape 3 content. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.